Hi there, I'm Brian Biro, America's Breakthrough Speaker, and I'm so delighted to be a part of the Ovations team. I love what I do. I love that I'm called America's Breakthrough Speaker because breakthroughs are my passion, breaking through from fear to freedom, from failure to faith, from ego to we-go, and from good to great. And all of my work, all of my speaking focuses in on the key to breaking through, and that is to control your controllables. And there are three that we will dive into together. The first is to shape your future, and that's about vision. You can't wait for your future or somebody else to decide it for you. It's about shaping your future. And that means that what you focus on is what you create. And it's so important to remember to not depend upon your memory to see. And when you do that, you understand that when you change the way you look at people, the people you look at change. I'll give you a story to bring that out. When my oldest daughter, Kelsey, went away to college, oh my goodness, we missed her so much. I sobbed for 3 hours after we dropped her off at college, driving back home. I'm talking ugly crying. But you talk about discovering a breakthrough. When she came home the first time from college for Thanksgiving holiday, I finally had a breakthrough that changed my whole life. See, I realized that I had been, for years, looking at my daughter as if she were still my 10-year-old little girl. Hey, she'd been driving her own car for 2 years. Every day she was waking up hundreds of miles away from us and deciding what she's going to do with the greatest gift of all called today. Well, she walked in our door that Thanksgiving, a smile the size of the Carolinas, and immediately announced to her mother and I that she'd already applied for, already been accepted to go to a very special service program in Ghana, in Africa, because Kelsey wants to make the world better. And I looked at my daughter that day, maybe for the very first time, and I finally understood. I finally got it. I finally realized that every time I looked at her as if she were, using my memory, as if she was still my little 10-year-old girl, what happened to our relationship? Went backwards until I looked at the wisdom, the courage, the maturity, the incredible young woman that was right in front of me. So when you change the way you look at people, the people you look at change. Change the way you see yourself, the self you see will change. And that is to take charge of your vision, to understand what you focus on is what you create, and stop using that memory conditioning to see. The second controllable that will direct a whole new trajectory in your life is to energize and engage your team, which means you must first energize and engage who? Yeah, yourself. And so we talk about the power of energy, that to everyone we touch, our energy is our example. Now, people won't remember that much of what you say, but they always get your energy. They get it over the phone. They get it in your emails. Email doesn't stand for electronic mail, it stands for energy mail. And there are three ways to really bring out energy in yourself and others. The first is so simple that we miss it. And here's what it is. From this moment forward, know that your energy is created by the way that you move, period. Anytime you've been at your best, you've given your best presentation, you've been your most creative, you've been your kindest, you've been your most courageous, you have moved your body distinctly differently than when you've not been your best. What specifically? Your body line and posture, your facial expression, your eye position, your focus, and your breathing. Now, I've said that to some people before, and they go, well, Brian, if I had more energy, I'd move more. Move more, and you'll have more energy. So if you want to move your career, if you want to move your sales, if you want to move your leadership, if you want to move your life, your health, your family, you got to move yourself. That's the first key to elevating your energy, and we talk about how. The second is even more foundational, and that is to know that your energy is in direct proportion to your level of purpose. Whenever you're full of purpose, you're full of energy. You ever notice that when you get to do what you love to do, energy's no problem? It doesn't matter how much you've been sleeping or how you've been feeling. When you get to do what you love to do, you're like my grandchildren, 4 and 6 years old, where get out of my way, life is right in front of me. But you ever notice what happens to your energy when you lose sight of your purpose? It's as somebody puts a big old pin in it. And so when you focus on purpose, and the key to doing that is to fill your life each day with gratitude. Start each day by asking yourself, what am I truly grateful about today? What you're grateful about will zero in on priorities. Your priorities will lead you to your purpose. And when you're full of purpose, all right, you are absolutely moving towards your greatest level of potential. All right, and the third controllable is probably the most important, and it's to build people, build teams, and build relationships. I don't know what business you're in, but I do know this. It's the people business on the foundational level. It's the relationships you build, it's how you grow and help others grow that will determine how far you can go. So how do you build trust with everyone around you? How do you help people know their significant importance so they rise to the potential? How do you help people break through their fears, obstacles, habits, or doubts? Well, the foundation, there's two keys to that. One is the most important of all keys, and that is to be fully present. That means when you're 100% of your mind, body, and spirit is with the people you're with where they are now. That's the only way you can build trust and help people know they're important. The second key, though, to building people is a surprise. And I'm not going to share it today because it would ruin the surprise. But it is the most surprising key to being a breakthrough leader because it goes against the grain of what we've been taught about leadership. And finally, I want to share with you how I want to bring all this alive. Because when I talk about these three controllables, I don't want to just talk about them. Because when we hear, we forget. When we see, we remember. It's when we do that we understand. So almost all of my 1900 events have ended with what I call the breakthrough experience. It is the greatest individual and team breakthrough experience you'll ever have an event. And I've had literally close to 1 million people break through 1-inch thick boards karate style. It's not just for the fun of it, though. It's the most fun ever. It's a powerful metaphor. It is the most powerful individual and team breakthrough experience you'll ever have in an event. And most importantly, it causes everyone to apply those three controllables in real life. The individual part of the breakthrough experience, it's metaphor. So I guide everyone to write on that board something they want to break through in their life. Fear of failure, anxiety, stress, worry. It could be something physical. And I've had people bring their families back together. I've had people forgive someone they never thought they could forgive. And suddenly they realize not forgiving them is like drinking poison and expecting them to die. I've had people lose over 100 pounds. I've had people skyrocket their careers. So the individual part of that breakthrough experience is related to the meaning. But there's more than that. If I had an event, we had 500 people in your team doing the breakthrough experience, we'd start with 50 circles of 10 people each. And all the people in each circle are, if your name is Shelly and you're breaking the board, the other 9 people are going, Shelly, Shelly, Shelly. 50 at a time, mass hysteria, music going. Some people have never been cheered for in their lives. And the breakthrough for them is to feel that unconditional support. The team part is equally powerful because you will never see people cheer like they cheer in the breakthrough experience. There's just something about it. Even the most shy, introverted people just let go because we want each other to break through. And finally, on that team aspect, I never could have described this as well until one of the best days of my life. It was my daughter's wedding day. And on that day, for at least 6 hours, I didn't think of myself once. All I could do was think of her. They said I was crying and laughing at the same time. All I know was her. And when those 9 people are cheering, Shelly, 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 they get to feel for Shelly the way I felt about my daughter. They've moved from ego to ego. They're caring about someone else. And so the breakthrough experience creates something that's unlike any other event, because when we finish that event, the stars of that presentation are not the speaker. The stars are the participants. And they walk out having done something they didn't know they could do when they walked in that room. They have shaped a new future. They have required to have tremendous energy to break through. And they become an unstoppable team, building each other, supporting each other. And they walk out with that belief, gosh, I didn't know I could break that board. What else could I do that I didn't know I could do? Maybe I could rise in my career. Maybe I could overcome that fear of public speaking. Maybe I could connect with my teenager. Maybe I could lose that weight and get that fitness. And so my joy is for each and every one to break through those fears, obstacles, habits, or doubts, to move from fear to freedom, from failure to faith, from ego to ego, and from good to great. I would love to work with you. Joy to you.